Yo, what's up, guys? Another episode, Carpool MMA. I'm your host, Ian Parker, back for some more picks, analysis, breakdown. For those of you guys, sorry, I got some bad allergies going on, so if you see me rubbing my nose, other than that being broken, I apologize there. Um, hey, for those of you guys that caught my last video, what do you think about that Jorge Masvidal pick? Woo! You know, a lot of guys were hitting me up saying, yo, nice job, good call. Then others saying, oh, you got lucky, you just chose the underdog for the hell of it. Not really. Um, it's nothing against Masvidal or Till. I don't really know either one of them personally, so I don't have a bias, and I don't just pick underdogs just because of the value there. If anything, believe it or not, for me, it was really, I just felt like Till, as I mentioned, was rushed too far up the ladder too quickly, and it really didn't fit into what, you know, I just felt that Masvidal was a weird matchup for him. You know, Till did not beat Wonderboy. I know he was in England, the scorecards gave it to him that way, but I just felt that if he didn't put Masvidal away quick, that George's gas tank would be better, that his ground game is better. And, when I saw them doing the face-offs, Masvidal looked pretty big. He didn't look, the size difference didn't look that insane, even when they got in the cage. Obviously, when Masvidal hit him with that left straight, it floored Masvidal. Sorry, put him on his ass, whatever. But Masvidal's tough, man. It takes more than that to knock him out. I just had a feeling, I just felt that Masvidal's been out of it for a while, and he was going to come back hungry. He's not a guy that lets ring rust bother him. He doesn't let the media bother him. You cannot psychologically fucking get into the head of Masvidal. He's too good. He's too seasoned, and he's a fighter at heart, man. You can't teach that. You know, these guys train in and out, but you can't teach the mindset that Masvidal has. For a guy to lose as many split decisions and been as unlucky as he has in his career too, with that, to just keep going forward and to go into Till's backyard, a guy that just fought for the title, he hasn't fought in like a year, and then knock him out in the second round after being dropped. That tells you a lot about Masvidal. A lot of guys have been saying, well, who do you think he should fight next? That's the big question here, right? Well, Masvidal was ranked, I believe, it was either 10 or 11 going into this fight at welterweight, and he just beat number 3, right? So average that out, that makes him at least ranked. I think they put him at 6 or 7 now. Um, there's only one guy that I really think the fight should happen, and I do think it's Ben Askren. A lot of guys are talking about, oh, Askren should rematch Robbie Lawler. Yeah, there's a big argument for that. I get it. But what I don't get, and hear me out for a second, is, every single time there's a controversial ending, a rematch is not given. And if that's how we're going to play this, where it was a controversial ending, which, it was, except Askren had that choke. It wasn't over the ears. It was definitely under the chin of Robbie. But I don't really think that fight has to happen again. Because there's a lot of controversy. I mean, you could say TJ Dillashaw's fight was controversial in how he lost. Yes, he was supposed to get the rematch till he got popped for steroids. However, he really wanted the rematch at 125. He wasn't getting it because he lost, right? Per the controversial ending. I think Masvidal and Askren make sense in the rankings. I think you could let Robbie Lawler fight Darren Till. If you want to let a loser, I hate call them losers, but a guy who lost versus a guy who lost type of thing. I don't think Leon Edwards versus Masvidal makes any sense. I think we need to ignore what happened backstage. I think it already got enough shine. Move forward. So I think Masvidal Askren is the way to go, because if Masvidal beats Askren, he just beat Till and Askren, it's hard to not give the guy a title shot after that. If Askren wins, he controversially beat Robbie Lawler. He beat Masvidal. Then after that, you would probably see a guy like Askren fight Wonderboy or someone else in like the top, who else is closer to the top. So that's my opinion with that. Okay, for everyone else who took my picks, McCann won, Nathaniel Wood won, Dominic Reyes won. The only one, even though that was close. The only one that really lost was Gunnar Nelson, and it was a split decision. Listen, as much as I would like to be like, oh, guys, it was close, we almost had it. Guys, that was Leon Edwards won by unanimous decision. I don't care what the judges say. I wanted Gunnar to win. I thought Gunnar, his ground game was going to take over. It did in the third round, but too little, too late. All right, so we still went like 4-1. solid. And with Masvidal being a huge underdog, come on, that's a sick night. So, moving on. This weekend, UFC Nashville, we got Anthony Pettis going up to welterweight against Wonderboy Thompson. We got Curtis Blades versus Justin Willis, Macy Barber, J.J. Aldrich. We got Violent Bob Ross, Luis Pena fighting. So we got some good fights. Nothing that really jumps, right at you really crazy. I'm going to do a little bit of a breakdown real quick for you guys, give you some picks. I was recently on the Florian Anik podcast. If you guys want to catch it, it was an awesome episode. I love competing against Kenny Florian. I've been watching him since, the first Ultimate Fighter. So when I get to have conversations with him, and John Anik is just, guys, John, I can't say enough good things about that guy. He's the man. All right. I went on the show. The way it works on their show is they do picks based on a scoring system, all that other stuff, and etc. So let's start off with Macy Barber, J.J. Aldrich. This is, guys, I don't know if there's any more of a guaranteed lock of the night pick than Macy Barber. Macy Barber's last fight against Hannah Cyphers finished her devastating form. And when I spoke on the show, I mentioned this. At the lower part of the competition of weight classes, and this is not taken away from the talent level. It's more along the lines of where you are in your division, okay? And Macy Barber and J.J. Aldrich are at the bottom of their division right now. Only because for Macy, she's fresh, she's new. For JJ, she's going back down to the weight class. So at that point, it really comes down to, obviously, Macy Barber saying she's the future. As I mentioned, it's a little early to go that far, but she looks great. I just think she's so much more athletic. She's stronger. She's faster. And when you see some of these women that rise to the top, their athleticism is so much further ahead and almost compensates for their lack of years of training. Like, Sarah McMahon, for example, okay? Phenomenal wrestler. Her striking's come a long way, but in the beginning, her wrestling was so good it didn't matter that her striking or her jiu-jitsu was green. She was able to push through. Someone like Miesha Tate was like that, and then as the years got on, when she became champ, listen, when she was champ, her striking was still okay, but her wrestling was top-notch, and jiu-jitsu was solid. Look what she did to Holly Holm, and Holm, who knocked out Ronda Rousey. It's just, Holly Holm, someone who beat Raquel Pennington in her first fight, not by a lot. Everyone thought she was going to dominate, but again, it was the athleticism that got her through, okay? So, Macy Barber's going to win this fight. There's just nothing I see here from J.J. Aldrich. And it's not a knock on J.J., just Macy, I just think is light years ahead of her in athleticism, strength, speed, and I think Macy Barber is going to take that one. Luis Pena, in his last fight, that was a weird one for me because I really thought he was going to win that one. I think he comes back here way more aggressive. He's going to be less tentative to strike, and he's going to win this fight. That's a quick pick for you. Not much of a breakdown there. I just think he's going to use his range, and he's going to not second guess what he did because he lost his last fight, get back to what got him to be Violent Bob Ross and take it to his opponent. He's got to be aggressive. He's got to go for it. He can't hold back. He can't be afraid to lose. I'm hoping his cardio is a little bit better. Last time he had a little bit of a dump, and you saw that. And I think that's what lost it for him. All right. I also like Chris Gutierrez in this fight. It's an interesting one, but I do like it. All right. Here's one of my favorite ones on the card. Figueiredo versus Jussier Formiga. All right, Formiga, sorry. Formiga recently beat Sergio Pettis, and Pettis beat Joseph Benavidez, and you figure those two guys, and Pettis fought Formiga, that was going to be a title contender fight. That was kind of how it was advertised before the whole Cejudo TJ thing. And Formiga won. Was it exciting? Fuck no. But Formiga is very smart, okay? There's very, very few, if any, who are better in his weight class in jiu-jitsu, especially in MMA jiu-jitsu, which is a huge difference if you guys watch, okay? Now, Sergio is a very good striker, okay? Very good, especially at 115. You saw when he went back up and fought Rob Font, different world. He fought a guy much bigger, the power, the speed. It was tough for him, okay? But at 125, he was one of the top guys, and it showed in this fight against Joey Jiu-Jitsu. Now, against Formiga did the right thing, okay? He got his hands going a little bit early through the combinations, and as soon as he can latch on and backpack him, he did. As much as people don't, sometimes the fans don't appreciate it, I think it's boring. I don't, because I appreciate the strategic play in the fight game. I appreciate the IQ. I appreciate the positioning. You got to understand that when guys are on the ground, they're working. It's the same thing if he's on his back while he's standing. Do you know how hard it is to maintain that position? And I give credit to Sergio Pettis a ton for going through that whole fight. Not easy to hold a guy on your back like that. You know, Figueiredo has been very dominant in regard to his striking. He does have the power to knock guys out, which outside of, I don't really know too many other guys in that weight class that can do that. I was going to say Lineker, but he's not even there. He's back at 135. Demetrius Johnson had the power to do it, but Figueiredo he's 15-0. Vegas loves these undefeated guys. This is something I keep preaching, and I need you guys to understand this. Being undefeated doesn't mean a fucking thing unless you do it in the UFC the way Khabib is doing it. That's where undefeated matters, because look at the guys who he's beating. Okay? Figueiredo coming into the UFC, and his best win to date is against John Moraga, which Moraga's solid. He's always been a guy who's floated around that top 7 in that weight class, but still, it's not, the undefeated thing doesn't matter. Personally, the fact that Formiga is an underdog here blows my mind. Seasoned vet, has only been getting better. His striking is getting better. Smarter fighter, great cardio. Guys, if you want to take an underdog that's not a ton of risk, I like Lucio Formiga. I'm taking Formiga in this fight. I believe he was plus 120 last time I checked. I love it. I think he's smart enough that he's going to use his striking. He's not going to get into a brawl. That's not who he is, guys. He is not the cocky fucking guy who once or twice his striking has worked, and all of a sudden he forgets that he's got, that he's one of the best black belts in the world. No. He's going to use his striking. He's going to get in tight. He's going to take Figueiredo down, submit him, or he's going to grind down for 3 rounds. Either way, I got Formiga in that fight. All right. Moving on. Weird fight for me on this one, too. I know I use this phrase, this terminology a lot. Interesting, weird fight, curious fight, awesome fight. But this one really is weird for me. All right. Justin Willis versus Curtis Blades. This is like literally short heavyweight, huge heavyweight. Curtis Blades had an opportunity of a lifetime against Francis Ngannou. Not just because Ngannou, all right? Because Ngannou was at an all-time low in his confidence. Okay, a guy like that, when he's confident, scary as hell. When he's not confident, he's nothing. Okay? Now, in an opportunity where Curtis Blades is riding high, putting it all together, his wrestling, his combinations, his striking looked good, his cardio looked good. He looked like he was the next guy to contend for a title. Okay, he really did. And then against Ngannou, he gets caught. Stupid, overconfident, gets caught. All right. And all of a sudden, then Ngannou goes on to knock out Kane. And now Curtis Blades is back, having to fight his way back up. However, this fight plays into his favor. I know Kenny Florian disagreed. I think Kenny mostly said that because of his relationship with Daniel Cormier. Justin Willis is an AKA guy, for you guys that aren't aware. Willis is short and compact. Okay, he does pack a lot of power. He's an okay striker. He's an okay wrestler. The heavyweight division doesn't have a lot of depth. Curtis Blades is big, fast. Ever since he went over to Dwayne Ludwig, his striking has gotten that much better. I just don't see... The way Willis fought against Mark Hunt was very safe, and that was smart, because Mark Hunt could catch you with one shot and you're done. But we all got... If you go back and watch that fight, if you guys could tell me that Mark Hunt didn't have an injury or something, that he was holding back just to get through his last contract on his fight, just so he could fight in his home, I'll call you a liar. Hunt barely moved. You don't really see a guy who doesn't have a range on Mark Hunt was outrange striking Mark Hunt. It doesn't make any sense. So Willis won on a decision because he jabbed his way to victory. Let's just call it that. In this fight, Curtis Blades is way more athletic. He has fought higher level competition. He has beat higher level competition. And he is not a stagnant guy. I think Willis is too stagnant. I don't think that Willis, if it's in the pocket and they brawl, as you've seen, he can land that left hook. All right? Blades is not that guy. Blades will bounce in and out. He's going to use his jab. He's going to use his push kick. He will use his wrestling if need be. I don't think Willis has much jiu-jitsu off his back. I don't know, but I'm just going to assume that body type is not meant. It's like a French bulldog puppy being on its back and not be able to move. I see that happening with Justin Willis. I got Curtis Blades in that fight. Not even a shadow of a doubt in that one. All right. So here we go. Main event. Stephen Thompson, Mr. Wonderboy, versus Anthony Showtime Pettis. This is what Chael Sonnen called a striker's delight, and it can be. My biggest concern here. Okay, now look, it's no secret Wonderboy does not have great jiu-jitsu. However, his wrestling takedown defense has evolved tremendously. For Tyron Woodley to have trouble getting him down says a lot. Darren Till had trouble getting him down. Doesn't say as much, but still says something, okay? Thompson came out, and he worked Jorge Masvidal to a unanimous decision, all right? Or he beat him, whatever it was. I don't really remember. It was just dominant. Okay? Anthony Pettis, though, was like plus 350, which is really intriguing. So here's how I'm going to break this down. I think Stephen Thompson is the much smarter striker. He's the more high-level striker. And he's fought everyone you can fight at 170. Okay? Do I think is he a big 170? Guys, he's really not. Dude's always lean. You know, I've seen him in person. I've hung out with him in person. He's not a big 170. Like, he doesn't cut an abnormal amount of weight. Okay? Anthony Pettis has an opportunity here to reboot. He's saying he has nothing to lose. I disagree. He's got a lot to lose. Okay? When you go up a weight class, right, and your response is I have nothing to lose because it's not your weight class, that's complete bullshit. I really think that's a cop-out. I don't think it makes any sense because you're still fighting. Because, look, if Anthony Pettis wins against Wonderboy, who, is number 2 or 3 at 170, where does that place Anthony Pettis at welterweight, right? I think what Anthony Pettis saw was a big-name fight, because Wonderboy is a big enough name, all right? A main event opportunity. He'll get paid against the guy that here's where it's interesting. You guys are all going to disagree with me here. By the way, I'm not saying Anthony Pettis is going to win this fight. I'm just telling you how he potentially could. Do I think Wonderboy beats him? I do, because I think Anthony Pettis is going to stay on his feet. And in a striking battle, Stephen Thompson's a better striker. He wins. But here's what's interesting to me. Anthony Pettis can take guys down-ish. Here's where it really is. Anthony Pettis has phenomenal jiu-jitsu. Okay? He showed it against Michael Kasea. He has shown it against Benson Henderson. He has shown it several times over. All it takes is one mistake. The only way this happens, though, is if Pettis drops him. They wear 4-ounce gloves. Anything can happen. Or if he gets him against the cage and somehow he's able to clinch up and get, ankle pick or a potential, body lock and get Wonderboy on the ground. Otherwise, not much else, man. Wonderboy's got great cardio. He's got great striking. His takedown defense has gotten much better. I wouldn't bet this fight because Wonderboy's minus 450. There's not any value. If you want to parlay him with some bigger favorites, go ahead. What I would personally do, which I am going to do, if I am winning flawlessly throughout the night, then I would then put money on Pettis and take a shot. Doesn't mean I think he's going to win, but I would take a shot. All right? So, based on that overall analysis, I'm going to start putting out some more content for you guys. I got a big surprise coming in the next couple of weeks. Going to have someone on here with me that you guys are going to blow your mind. Doesn't do a whole lot of interviews. He's been on social media a lot, though, lately. I'll give you that much. And we're going to kind of go from there. One other underdog, by the way, that I kind of like is I kind of like Random Marcos against Angela Hill. I just think that Marcos has fought better competition. I think her wrestling game is going to get there. And I just think that Angela Hill is just okay. All right, guys. So on that note, enjoy the fights. Hit me up. Follow my page on YouTube. Follow me on Twitter at Parker Cage Hero, Instagram, all that good stuff. All right. And enjoy the fights. Let's win some money. Let's go.